Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Cam Jennings coming at you on behalf of EpicConversions.com. And today, I want to talk to you guys about expectations. If I've already talked about expectations, consider this a part two. But anyways, quick weather report for you. It's about 50 degrees out here. It was misting when I first started walking, but it's not really doing anything now. It's just kind of wet outside. Easy day to walk. I'm just wearing a hoodie today, as far as like protecting from the weather. So very simple. Lucky in Ohio for January, if you ask me. But anyways, reminder, if anything I say resonates with you today, be sure to get over to EpicConversions.com, sign up for my free newsletter. I like to think I put my best free content out by email, not by a random walking with your phone video. So anyway, if what I say today resonates with you, you owe it to yourself to join my email list. At the end of this video, I'll give you a few reasons why you don't belong on my email list. All right, about expectations. It's my opinion. Now, some people might disagree with this. That's fine. But it's my opinion, and this opinion comes from experience, that it's good to go into projects with expectations. Some kind of financial expectation, some kind of unit sold expectation, some kind of goal. Now, to me, if it's the first time you've ever done something, if it's the first time I've ever done something, I don't take the expectation too seriously, because it's a real estimation. I've never done it before, so I really truly don't know what to expect. It's more of a let's get some data so I have a benchmark to try to excel beyond than it is an expectation at first. But then the more you do that kind of project, the greater the expectation becomes to be able to hit a certain milestone or a certain goal. For example, like as I record this, I'm in the middle of my first print book launch. First print book that Epic Conversions has ever put out. And I had an expectation for that. But again, I don't take the expectation too seriously, because I really don't have any data for what will happen for me with a physical book launch. Now, sorry, I'm just wrapping this walk up. Could I run around and ask a bunch of people questions about it and what to expect and what kind of numbers are they hitting, how big is their audience, stuff like that, and try to gauge it based on that? Yeah, I could do that. But at the end of the day, there's so many different variables. Let's say I ask somebody, what happened to them, okay? They could give me an answer, okay, and that has very little impact on what's going to happen to me, because number one, the project that they were talking about, it's going to be completely different than the project I'm doing. They're going to be marketing it to a completely different audience than what I'm marketing it to, and they're going to have a completely different style of marketing than what I have. So it's nice to have all that data, but to me, the truth is, when it comes to expectations, when you first start on a brand new project that you've never done before, like in my case, I'm launching a print book. I've never done it before. Expectation is very loose. Like I can anticipate selling this many to this many print books. And if I sell the higher number, that's high into my expectations. If I sell the lower number, that's low into my expectations. But what do my expectations really mean when I've never done it before? I mean, I have nothing to compare it against, truly. I the real expectation is doing it and seeing how it goes, and then after it's over, examining it and figure out how you can do it again better and get more sales. That's the real expectation on a first one. Like if you've never launched a product before, your expectations are going to be loose, but I still think you should have them, right? If you've never, started a blog before, if you've never started a YouTube channel before, should you have expectations for what the first 6 months looks like? Yes, of course you should. But if you've never done it before, your expectations are going to be loose. They're more like benchmarks and data points for what the next 6 months would look like. If you do 6 months on a YouTube channel and you break that down into 1 month goals or whatever, and you find that you're not meeting your expectations on those 1 month goals, and when you get to the 6 month mark, it's not where you wanted it to be for your expectation. Well, look, if you've never done it before, don't take it too seriously because you've never done it before. Your expectations, what are they even founded on? They're not founded on anything because you've never done it before. So the second 6 months will be far more revealing than the first 6 months, because in the second 6 months, you should see growth from the first 6 months, right? When you're talking about a YouTube channel. But it could be anything. What I'm saying is if you've never done something before, you can't take the expectation that you set for yourself too seriously. It's more of a data point. Now, the more you've done something, like let's say you're going to start a YouTube channel and you've started several YouTube channels in the past. You know what they should be doing in the first 3 months, what they should be doing in the first 6 months. You have plenty of experience to judge that on, right? You got to take your expectations more seriously at that point. And if you're not meeting them, you need to do things to adapt to meet those expectations. Like, for example, I used to launch digital products publicly a lot. Like almost every month I was launching a new digital product, and I had done it a lot. So I had expectations, and I was marketing to the same audience. So I had an expectation for what kind of numbers I should be hitting with that launch and what kind of numbers I shouldn't be hitting. That would be considered, I don't want to say failure, but considered not really acceptable. So I had it tuned down to a science. I would do 4-day launches, and I could predict based on, before I went in, based on how many affiliates I had and based on how big my list was, I could estimate what kind of units I was going to sell in this launch on the front end and in the funnel. And then after the first day, I could estimate with such higher degree of accuracy, right? So I could estimate with some accuracy before I even began, but then I could fine tune that to an nth degree of accuracy once that first day was in the books. Just because of how things had gone on the first day, I knew I was going to have a little bit of a drop off on the second day, a little bit more of a drop off on the third day, and a huge spike on the fourth day, right? And I knew these things were going to happen. I knew it down to a science because I had done it a lot. So I had a great expectation, and the expectations mattered at that point that I set because I had done it so much. Expectations are important, and they do matter. You should have some kind of standard for the projects you're starting. But just keep in mind when you're first getting started and you've never done it before, you shouldn't get discouraged if you don't meet those expectations. I think that you should have expectations for the 1 month mark, for the 2 month mark, for the 3 month mark, and so on. At least out to 6 months, for a long project like a YouTube channel or like a blog, something that just takes a little bit more time to grow. I think you should have a little bit longer expectation goals for that. But I digress. The basic point that I'm trying to make today is that expectations are important. You should have expectations for every project you embark on. But the less experience you have with that kind of project, the looser you take your expectations. The less frustrated, you shouldn't get frustrated at all, but the less you should feel like you have to adjust if you're not meeting expectations. Because you just don't know. You need to get the data. Like this first, print book launch I'm doing, guys. It's lasting for 8 days. I'm gonna wrap this thing up on Sunday night at midnight. I'm gonna wrap it up. If you're interested in my book, by the way, you need to join my email list. Get over to epicconversions.com. Join my email list. You'll get emails for the book. if you join like today. You'll get email. I'll be sending emails on it for the next several days. Um, but the point is, so basically I'm smack dab in the middle of this book launch right now. I'm not adjusting anything. I don't feel the need to adjust anything. I don't feel the need to adjust my sales page. I don't feel the need to adjust the kind of email copy that I'm writing. I don't feel the need to increase frequency on that. I don't feel the need to do anything. Like, I'm not going to do anything. I'm going to stay the course of my original plan for this launch, and I'm going to see where the chips fall and see what happens. That's my first data point. So I'm going to come back in March and I'll do another one. And in March, I expect to do more numbers than I do with this one, right? Whatever this one's going to be, I don't know what it's going to be yet because I've never done a print book launch before. I can't predict the metrics of it. It's not the same as digital, So, but when I come back in March and I do that second one, I'll have data from this one, so I'll know, and my expectations will mean more. But right now, my expectation is really just like, whatever. It's just my estimation based on what I've done in the past with digital stuff, and what I think might happen with physical print goods. I really have no true point of reference, but I will after this launch. So the expectation is about setting a benchmark and getting some data. And the more print book launches that I do, the more my expectations really, really matter, and the more I would need to adjust during the launch phase. So anyways, that's kind of what I'm saying. I hope that's not too long-winded. That's what's on my mind today, guys, just because, like I said, I'm in the middle of a print book launch now. And you might think, well, Cam, why are you doing a print book launch anyway? And I'll save that one. I'll save that one for tomorrow. I don't want to, this is going too long for just a simple little thoughts on a walk video. But if I remember, I'll talk about why I'm doing a print book launch tomorrow with you guys. All right. Peace now.